Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is NPC bodybuilder, model, everything that goes into the overall fitness game, a badass woman with a statuesque, a hell of a specimen in the gym, which we'll talk about with the videos that we've seen on her Instagram account,
Thank
Miss
you.
Wendy Levra. How are you, Wendy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. First and foremost, you're doing a lot of great work on the bodybuilding front, really showcasing the discipline and the overall acumen that goes into it. I got to give you kudos. Very impressive.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Now, for you, it's amazing how we do what we do in this thing that we call life, going to many different endeavors and really exploring different avenues and lanes, what have you, however we want to, accustom it. But let's talk about the bodybuilding front here. For you, gravitating toward the bodybuilding realm, fitness, you become sort of a coach, a trainer, really into the overall fitness regime. How did that go into fruition for you? How'd you gravitate towards it?
Well, I kind of have always worked out a little bit off and on throughout my life, but I would like give up for a little while and I never really set it as a goal. And then when I was about 35, I had gained a little more weight than I wanted to. We moved from a little tiny town where there was like nothing to do, nothing to eat, and we moved to a little bit bigger of a town in northern Nevada. And there was a lot of good restaurants and stuff, or so I thought. And we just were eating out a lot. So I gained more weight than I wanted to. And I went into this clothing store. I'd been kind of frequenting it. And this lady in there was like, and I went in there to buy bigger pants, basically. And she's like, instead of buying bigger pants, why don't you come to my class? And so I went, she taught, sorry, I'm just like all over, but she taught this group fitness class at the gym. And so I thought, okay, she's right. I'm just going to try it. And so I went in and tried her class and I fell in love with it. And so I started going to that all the time. And then just, I hired a personal trainer. Like I just got way into fitness all of a sudden. And I hired a personal trainer. And right away, because I always had like muscular arms and stuff, um, she was like, gosh, you should really compete because you have a really nice physique, actually. And I told my husband at the time that she said that, and it felt really good to get that compliment. And I didn't even know what bodybuilding was at the time. And he kind of laughed it off. And that was kind of a big mistake for me. You can't laugh me off or like make me feel like I can't do something. And I don't think he meant it in a bad way. He just like, it wasn't really like me to do something like that. Um, and so that was that. I just started prepping for a show right away.
Well, I gotta
Just
say,
that was it.
right. And first and foremost, I think it's wonderful that you do because, I mean, we always talk about our New Year's resolutions and how we want to do this and that, but I think it's very tough to stick to that. And I'm going to say right now, the amount of discipline that goes into dieting and fitness and everything, it's a constant day grind. And I think what also helps for a lot of people, it's staying, as I like to call it, positively proactive. I mean, in the day and age of social media where everything is at our fingertips and everything is around us, there's portion control, there's everything from the eating side of things. I think it's great that you're really focused in and you've tapped into your overall mind, body, and soul with what goes into fitness. And I think it's done wonders for you. And I think it'll do wonders for everybody because the positively proactive, constantly being on the go, it really works and it really uplifts one's mind, body, and soul.
It does. Yeah. Just the mindset itself. I mean, and there's things, it just, how can I say this? There's some cons too, but I mean, when you learn that you can accomplish those things, it changes your mindset overall um, in life itself. So, like you can just overcome anything because the pain, people don't realize there's a lot of pain in competing, um, hunger pains. Besides that, just when you're that lean, it actually hurts. I mean, you just get to where you're so fatigued just from being that lean that there's times when it's so hard just to get out of bed or walk upstairs and you have to go do your cardio. You have to work out. It doesn't matter how you feel, you have to do it. And so when you can do that, you just know, like, you get into that mindset where, you know what, screw it. Like, whatever I want to do in life, I can do it. That's it.
I think that's the right mindset. I mean, it may sound cliche, but I think whatever everybody goes through stuff. I mean, in a day and age of mental health, which I totally understand, we've all been there. I think what's great about it too is as well, there's always that come to Jesus moment. There's looking at that proverbial man in the mirror, so to speak. I think once you take into everything, you surround yourself with the right people, really, educate yourself, mind, body, and soul. Like I mentioned, it's one of those things where it's like a wake up call. It's like a light bulb that goes off, and you really get to showcase your true talent, and really unlock that potential. And I think that goes into everything. And like you mentioned, the cons of, you're being lean, getting involved with these competitions and everything. And I'll say this right now, speaking of the competitions, the overall grace and the finesse that goes into it, just when you're on that stage, it's very, very important just showcasing that and really showing out, because that is the overall imagery that showcases the inspiring part and the empowering part for you as a woman, and as all women can really relate to, as far as, going out there, showing up, showing out, and really showcasing you for the external beauty and the overall physicality and mindset that goes into bodybuilding.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. It's a lot of practice.
And for you, we got to talk about these gym videos here, folks, because each and every time I see on the Instagram from, you're constantly blowing up with everything from your works, your gains, from the poses, from the leg work, from everything in general. You are a gym rat, and it definitely shows. And I love to see it every time on the social media front.
Thank you.
You're very
It's
welcome.
hard work.
It is, but we got to talk about it here because, like I said, I think a lot of people can take in from what we're seeing there from the overall standpoint. It's just like, man, you're going to the gym, it's very motivational. And I think for you, it's just, let's talk about the gym here, because how often are you in the gym? Is it every day? Is it every how many times a day? I got to ask the gym routine, because you are like in beast mode when it comes to the gym here, Wendy.
Right now, it hasn't been as much. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a break. I just got really burned out. And my coach doesn't want me to train every day, but normally it's at least 5 days a week. I'm usually training for about 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours. It depends on when I'm in prep or whatever. When I'm not in prep, it's another 30 minutes of cardio about. So about 2.5 hours. When I'm in prep, um, the workouts are the same. A lot of people think they change, but they don't. You still have to work just as hard. Reps don't change. Nothing like that changes. And the cardio that does increase. Like, you're doing usually about an hour and a half of cardio for me a day. So it's split up between two cardio sessions. So, about 3 hours a day in the gym.
I love
So
that. And I mean, you've done your stuff with Tokyo Joe's Rocky Mountain Bodybuilding Championships. You've done your stuff with North American's third division. I gotta say, from that, I think looking on to, like, we've seen the Arnold Classics and many different great fitness competitions in the bodybuilding world, the pro cards. I mean, this is another step for you. I've got to ask you as well to level up and just continue what you're doing on that front. I think from where you started to where you are now, I think it's constantly progression and succession. And I think it's really going to turn out extremely well for you, Wendy.
thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And I mean, for you, I mean, being on these stages, I mean, you're talking about the grace and the poise that we talked about here. I want to mention from the imagery side of things here, because when we look at modeling, when we look at the typical bodybuilding, how we marketing from magazines and our overall images and pictures, like we talk about the progression of where we are over the years. For you, I think from the empowerment side of things, I mean, women come in all different shapes and sizes. We got a little beautiful kick-ass women and badassery of women, and I include you in those sentiments. How important is that just for you as well to be that figure that a lot of women can inspire and look up to from the motivational side of things? I mean, you're a doggone personal trainer. You got the coach side of things as well. It's the motivation that's very key here.
That's the most important thing for me, is empowering women. That's I want every woman to be able to look at me or talk to me and be able to relate to me. That's really important to me. I want them to reach out to me if they want to. I've had a lot of things happen in my life that I think they can connect with me on. And I want them to be able to say, hey, I can do that too if I want to, women should empower each other and not look down on each other for whether they're muscular, overweight, skinny, whatever. We should all, be able to come together and grow at just grow and like become big light for each other. I don't know.
No, agreed wholeheartedly. I think what's great about that too, here's folks, I always say inspire through your words and your actions. And I mean, we come from a day and age. I mean, we're in 2023, god dang it, man. It's crazy just to see the years just go by in a blink, but we create some moments and memories in that time period. We come from a day and age where we look at women in combative sports and natures, whether it be wrestling, MMA, boxing, what have you, and even bodybuilding as well. The term, and I've always hated this term, and I think the term mannish gets thrown out a lot, which I hate. It's very ignorant, but also at the same time, you look at where women's bodybuilding was back then and now, we get to see the acceptance, the equality, and really just how women have really shown themselves of all different facets of life. Because I'm going to say this right now, y'all women are kicking the crap out of us men over here. You've been putting us in our place, if you will. And I love that because we talk about the empowerment side of things, but the evolution, the revolution, the overall mindsets have really explored, very changed. And we really open up a lot of minds with how women have been kicking ass in the bodybuilding front, particularly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, I think.
And I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. I think you have to look at it from everybody in life. Life is an art form. We're all continuing to apply our crafts. We all got to paint that canvas, so to speak. So I think whatever art form that you do, I think it's very important not only that you stick to it, but there's going to be a lot of chitter chatter around. As much as you block that out, boom, you stay on your path. That's right there. It's self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who cares what other people think? It's your body. I don't care what people think. Whatever I do with my body, with my mind, whatever, it's all me. And if it makes me happy, that's all that matters.
I gotta say, first and foremost, folks, like you mentioned, talk about the muscular part with your arms. I gotta say, we talk about poses here. This woman right here, I gotta compliment you on the pose here. The poses, the arms, the biceps, the triceps. I gotta say, one of your best pose downs comes with the arms. It really does showcase within you. I have
Thank
to
you.
put that over. No, I love it. I love it. I think that's the most, I think it's one of the most attractive from the internal and external beauty side of things. It's just overall badassery. And I think a lot of people can really not just inspire with that, but really can just showcase a badass image and just appreciate it for the image that it is?
My arms have always been like kind of muscular and big, so I don't know where it comes from, but
I mean, we say it in DNA with like we get from parents or whatever and the motivation, but I think that also is just another great extension, whether it be a family member, a child, however relative it comes from. I think it just adds another extension or layer to your overall being?
mhm. Yeah, for
And I
sure.
and I think with you, Wendy, as well, we got to talk about some more just as far as the bodybuilding side of things. We got to ask about the cheat meals here because again, you're always staying disciplined. You always stick to the strict diet. You do what you do to get ready for what you get to do, Wendy, with your overall competitions. What is Wendy Lever's cheat meal with that we see that everything that goes into it? Because everybody has that overall, that cheat meal, that overall escape, if you will, from staying from that diet, and then boom, here's the cheat meal. What does a Wendy Lever cheat meal look like?
So it kind of changes. I love hamburgers. Just give me a cheeseburger and fries pretty much any day, and I'm good with that. But like if I'm in prep, it changes from prep to prep. Like one time it was chicken and waffles, which was funny because I'd never had it in my life, and for some reason that's what I wanted after my show. Another time it was biscuits. Another time it was a cheeseburger. Um, and then this last time, all I wanted to do was get like a bunch of snack food, like appetizers. And in Pittsburgh, it was funny because I looked all over for a place that just had appetizers that I wanted. And it was so hard to find a place that just had all the appetizers. Like I wanted like nachos and, stuff like that. And they had like way different food than what I'm used to because it's a different side of the country. You know what I mean? They have, they had, I don't know, it was pierogies and I can't even remember, but it was delicious. Whatever they had was delicious. That's
Like
all I have to say about that. But
you're making my mouth water with the chicken and waffles and the pierogies. Very nice.
yeah,
That's awesome. I think whatever I think also with the traveling side of things for these competitions, you get to explore different foods and different styles. I mean, whether you're going from north to south, east to west, what have you. I think that also showcases as well. And like I said, I think that's a great cheat meal. Now, anything for dessert, any chocolate, or what are we thinking about that from that side of things, Wendy?
oh, it's usually cookies or brownies or both. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I That's kind of a problem for me is that I do tend to go overboard and you're not supposed to do that. It's really bad for your kidneys and everything to do that. But yeah, I love cookies and brownies. Last time, Buckeye Brownie, the business, was at the show, and we bought a couple of those, and they were freaking delicious. I'm just gonna say. So if you ever get a chance to eat some of their brownies, do it. They're so good.
Give me some chocolate chips. Give me some fudge brownies, Buckeye brownies. Very, very nice. But I think that's also too as well because I'm a bit of a sweet tooth myself here. We tend to
Yeah.
go, us sweet toothers tend to go overboard, but
Yeah.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? We're like Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory. You know what I'm saying? We're like little Augustus for those who remember Augustus and Willy Wonka, where he's just eating
Uh-huh.
the chocolate. That's it.
That would be me. Yeah. If there was a chocolate factory right there where I could just go in and eat it, that would be me.
Little Augustus, yes.
Yeah.
But no, I think that comes with the territory with everything. But I think the overall thing I will say here, man, what I respect about y'all, what y'all doing with the fitness side of things and the bodybuilding, we talk about the discipline, but I think what also is very cool is the bodybuilding aspect with the shows, the fitness side of things, staying in the gym. I think everything that you do, mind, body, and soul, everything that encompasses one's being, man, fitness is just not just a overall thing from the physical side of things. It's a state of mind. I think the mind just keeps going on and on to the break of dawn. So that path and that overall grind, it never stops. And I think that's main key in life is just never stopping and just going on, right?
Yep. Pretty much. I don't think people realize that, when you move your body, it can help anxiety and depression, and just overall mindset things. So, even if you're just, it doesn't even have to be the gym. If you're not feeling well, mentally, and you just go for a walk outside, it can help a lot. So, you know,
I mean, I equate it to, and it's crazy just the span of 3 years that we've had from 2020 to 2023. Now, COVID did a lot for people from the overall stance. So there was a lot of depression going on and everything. But I've always said, like I mentioned, positively proactive from the gym side of things, gave people to do some stuff from home gyms when gyms were not open. So I think even through the tough times like what we went through with COVID to where we are now, there's always something productive to do. So I think productivity is really important in anything that you do, not just in fitness, but in life. So as long as the productivity stays up, I think it's golden.
yeah, for sure.
And I mean, let me ask you, because around that COVID period time as well, like again, doing your thing with the gym, was that a little difficult for you as well? Did you do some home workouts? What was like that? What was that life during that time period for you?
So when COVID hit, I was actually prepping for USA's, I think. So I had to work out at home, and all I had were some bands. And so that's what I did. And then I just kept pushing my show up, like everybody else. And so I ended up uh, doing North Americans that year too. And I placed fourth in that show. And it was funny because I thought, oh, I'm just gonna, I'm so worried. I was so worried that I was gonna kind of just stay the same because I've always been able to build muscle through my preps. But I built muscle throughout that prep, even just using bands. I just was doing so many reps. It was like the worst workouts ever, just like 100, 200 reps of, you know what I mean? It was, my bands were like the little light bands, and trying to order more bands. Everything was out of stock. You probably know how everything was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I prepped through that whole thing and then went to North Americans, and I was proud of myself, just that I made through it. So I was like, well, we'll see how I do. And I placed fourth. So yeah.
We got to talk about the sports side of things because very athletic. If we talk about favorite sports here, because there's so many different art forms here. I mean, there's basketball, there's lacrosse, there's soccer, there's baseball, football. What does a Wendy Levra sports activity look like here? Because again, you're constantly grinding on the fitness side of things. We got to talk about sports here because I can see you right here, Wendy, as we all see here on video. Natural athlete. I'm going to put that like that. Size, swolls the goal size is the prize here. What's a sports look like for Miss Wendy Levra here?
I play no sports. I don't do any of
Nothing?
that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually, I think what it was when I was in high school, I had zero confidence, absolutely none. So I never tried out for any sports. I did a little bit of taekwondo.
Okay.
Um, and when I was younger, I played softball because I was forced to, and I hated it. But other than that, I never did any sports. I'm more of I like to go paddle boarding and stuff like that kind of girl. So
First of all, love that. I gotta say, there's nothing wrong with nice little paddleboarding. And you know what it is too? I think when people see, and it's very interesting when people see the size, the stature, like we mentioned of a bodybuilder, like a lot of bodybuilders have transferred into like wrestling. Like we've seen a lot of that too. But I think what's funny about it too is like you mentioned, like there, you are the definition of what all kids were when you want to go out for a sport, but it's the sport that you really don't want to do and that you get forced to do, like you mentioned, softball and stuff. That is the definition of every kid going into sports in elementary and junior high school. I love that. But no, that's the thing too. Like we all have to have the different art forms. Like you mentioned, Taekwondo. It also takes a lot of discipline, takes a lot of combative nature and hard work there that goes into that. So I think a lot of everything that you do from the sport mentally and physically side of things. I mean, I got to give you kudos because Taekwondo is not easy. So I mean, hey, that's still it's something. You know what I'm saying? You're still getting on your grind from that front.
yeah, I gotta say though, I did it for a little while and then I mean I liked it, but I was a teenager, a young girl, and I was boy crazy and I would sneak off and go see my boyfriend. And then when my mom found out, she made me quit the class. So I didn't really, finish. I didn't get very far in Taekwondo. So I just want to put that out there so nobody like tries to contact me to do any like, weird kind of Taekwondo, like, oh, let's, you know what I mean? Because I just am waiting for somebody to contact me to do some kind of weird, you know.
I get it. You're like Texas Ranger and Talladega Nights. You're gonna come at them like a spider monkey. I understand. No,
Yeah, pretty much.
but no. Well, see, that first of all, that's like a sitcom episode right there. You sneak off from Taekwondo to go see the boyfriend and stuff. Like, that's literally the definition of a sitcom episode right there. I like that too.
Yes.
Okay. But no, I understand. But yeah, no, I think whatever you've done in life has really gotten to you to where you are today, Wendy. And personally, I can't wait to see what the future holds for you from your bodybuilding and everything in fitness. I think you are one of the many shining lights, as you mentioned, in the game today. So once more, I got to give you kudos and love and respect on that front.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And before we close this out, man, you are a Jill of all trades and what you do. I can't wait to see what other endeavors you get into from competition, what have you. And I'm going to put this right here. Miss Wendy Levra, the Overture is here. Anytime you want to come back on the show, you're more than welcome to. I had a blast talking to you today.
Thank you. You too. You were
So,
awesome.
thank you. Now, Miss Wendy Lever, there's a lot of badass women out there. There's a lot of women on the come up as far as the fitness side of things, bodybuilding, and many, many facets and art forms of life. What advice would you give to a lot of girls who've done like you've done, the bodybuilding side of things, fitness? What advice would you give to the ladies out there?
Just keep grinding. Make sure your mind is where it should be because that's really important. Do your blood work. Make sure you pick a coach that cares about you. Really, that's probably the most important thing because there's a lot of coaches, and I mean top level coaches that don't give a freaking shit and will do things that they should not be doing. So do your research, reach out to maybe former competitors of theirs to find out why they're not with them anymore. Um, and find a coach that you connect with. And yeah, I think that's really important is do your blood work and the coach thing. And just keep grinding, keep trying, don't give up because it can take a long time, keep building the muscle and yeah, I don't know what else to say really, but
I
it
gotta say,
just can take a long time. So just keep working at it.
no, that was
You can
beautiful.
always reach out to me. I can always, I'm always happy to talk to you. So
Right. And I'll say this first and foremost, beautifully and eloquently said. I think that says it right there. It's very self explanatory. And I always say, and I'll say this to you, it's being the best representation of your presentation. And also at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Surrounding yourself with the right people. You know what I'm saying? Surround yourselves with people that want to see you win. That's safe,
yes.
right? There you go.
Well said. Yep.
You like I said, I think what's great about it too is why this is why I love you same way, like the positivity side of things. I think it's very important in today's day and age, like you mentioned from the social media, everything at our fingertips, messaging one another, man. It's the united, not divided front. If anybody has questions, don't be afraid. I think that's very important in anything in life. I mean, we learn that from a young age, but it really sticks with us as we get older, you know?
Yep, for sure. It's a camaraderie sport. That's what it should be about. We should be friends, man. Everybody. You know what I mean? We want to see each other win. So
I like your style, Miss Wendy Levra, and I think you
thank
all will
you.
like. You're welcome, and I think you all will like what Wendy Levra's got going on. And this is where I step back, Miss Wendy Levra. I know you're doing your thing on social media. Promote the Instagram and where we can follow you on all forms of social media. The floor is yours.
Um, okay, so my Instagram is at Fit with Wendy. I'm also going to be starting some mindset coaching soon, so look for that. And yeah, I love all of you. I love everybody that supports me, and I really appreciate all of you. So keep grinding. That's it.
Mind right, grind right. We got to keep going. And two final things, as I always say, folks, to end this show, life is an art form. We all apply our crafts, and you, Miss Wendy Lever, apply your craft in amazing fashion. And as always, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss Wendy Lever, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.